All right. All right. So now let's talk the rest of the
The
Soulful
rest of
Divas
the best of the rest.
that we didn't talk about. We mentioned Chaka Khan, but because I know you love her and you know I love her, and because you have something kind of in current time going on with her,
Yeah.
let's talk one of your fiery, she's an Aries, Soulful Divas, Chaka Khan. What do you want to say?
We got 2 hours. No,
I know. We need 2 hours.
No. I'm kidding. Well, there are quite a few things I could say. I mean, but I think that it's what I really want to address is more the kind of conversations that I had with her that were not. I don't think he necessarily ended up in. They may have kind of seeped into interviews,
Yeah.
but really, I what one of the foundational connections between us is her interest in reference for reincarnation, which, of course, as you know, in my book that came out,
Say the name
the end
Through
of last year.
Seven Lives and give that
That's
subtitle.
right, Through Seven Lives, and three. I should have a. Oh, there you go. Grab the copy. Grab
Grab a
copy.
copy.
Promote.
That's right.
Reincarnation Journey available on Amazon, Kindle, paperback. There you go. Anyway, yeah. So we began having that kind of conversation. I think. Well, I remember in the first interview I did. Well, I think the first interview I did in person actually was in LA, and it would have been 1976. Yeah, and she was managed at the time by uh, Diana Ross's husband, Bob Ellis at the time, Bob Ellis,
Bob
who
Ellis,
managed
who is
Rufus.
the father of Tracy Ellis Ross and
That's right.
Chesney
Yes,
Ross.
and he managed Rufus, Billy Preston, and a couple of other people. But I remember very specifically having my first in-person interview with Chaka in his office, and this is not the Chaka Khan part, but that here's an aside because I know you'll love this part. So sitting in his office, and he was waiting for Chaka to arrive. So he's sitting there, and he got and picked up. It was on the phone. Phone rang, and he was talking.
It was Miss Ross.
Well, we didn't call her Miss Ross. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, that was my wife. She was talking about carpets." Now, of course, I knew who he meant, but he didn't say that was Diana. And he just said that's my wife, and I thought, wow, they were talking about carpets for that. But it was just a funny moment. Anyway, I digress. So
no, you don't. You had to say that. You didn't digress.
I
You
kind
had to say
of
that.
did. It was funny. Anyway, so then so that first interview with Chaka in person in his office, I remember exactly where it was on Sunset Boulevard, almost opposite Casablanca Records. I don't have that kind of memory, but anyway, don't worry.
I can see it.
Anyway,
you're bringing me there, so keep
all
going.
right. This is good. This is good. And one of the things that came up in the conversation was about spirituality. Now, I'd have to find the exact quote, but she spoke about the music for her wasn't just about entertainment, and it was about delivering messages. And I'm paraphrasing, but it struck me at that point because this was an area that I was delving into. It was 1976 as well. So I think that, and she may have said, and I have to look at that quote, something about reincarnation, but I don't remember that specifically she said at that point. But through the years, and of course, with that recording Egyptian song, which is on the album Rufus featuring Chaka Khan, I think with the big, where she's the big picture and they're like in the little, always ask Rufus.
Yes.
Sorry, I should get my album right.
Album. It's an iconic album cover. Yes.
Yes, it has this other song. There's Hollywood, Everlasting Love, I think is on there. But this song, Egyptian song, wow. I mean, and so that became a subject for us to talk about over years. And so here's what I would say about my memories with Chaka. There's a lot of them, but really, I remember one of the conversations that was most profound was after I went to Egypt in 1984. I it's kind of an aside, but not really. So I'm in this restaurant in the middle of Egypt, in the place I went to visit, and the radio is on, and they're playing the Egyptian top 10, and is in Arabic, which I don't speak. So I'm listening, eating my food, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, I hear Chaka Khan, and the only record they played on the radio in Egypt was "I Feel for You," and so that's number one. Number two, I took a cassette.
Her remake of Prince. We should just
Yeah, yeah,
remind the people.
absolutely. And then I took a cassette. I had a cassette player with me, and I took a cassette. I put some particular songs on it, and when I was in Luxor in Egypt, and I was wandering around. I went kind of off track, and which I didn't realize I was off track till I realized, oops, I shouldn't be here. But anyway, it was part of the ruins that weren't really open to the public of this temple. But anyway, by the by, I was playing. I put the cassette on, and I put the Egyptian song on in that environment. So it was like the song was being heard in the ruins of an Egyptian temple, and it was like the vibration. Music has vibrations. As a way, I know you know this, Patrick, and yeah, there's everything's energy, everything's vibration. So the point being that when I came back to LA at the time where I was living, I told her that about the Shaka Khan on the radio story, and I told her that I played the music in the ruins, and it was such a. She was like, "Whoa!" I mean, it was like it was almost otherworldly, and that became a
Yeah,
connection that continues through many years. And I think that's probably the thing. I think of Shaka. I mean, Shaka is thought of in many different ways by many different people, but I think
yeah,
more and more she's being open to sharing the spiritual aspect of her. She's been doing the meditations. She's been doing on her
yeah,
social media, and I'm pleased to see that that part of her is becoming more public. And so that's, and it culminated, just to complete the story. I was in LA in 2023 for my birthday, and I invited her sister Tammy, who was manager, and
yeah.
I happened to invite her. I was at Shaka's house doing some interviews, and then Shaka said, "Well, why didn't you invite me?" And I thought, it's kind of like, I don't know what it just felt, I don't know. I couldn't say why I didn't. It just felt like, I knew Tammy better than I knew Shaka in a sense. And she said, "Well, I want to come too." And she came to my birthday party as photographs of her at my birthday party in LA with and she insisted on meeting all of my friends and asking them what they did and she wanted to know
Uh,
about them. It was, I mean, just, yeah. So those are some of the treasured memories. I have some other memories
I
which are
love that.
less treasured.
Now, before we, well, one, we want to tell the people there's more on Shaka in the Soulful Divas. We want to just
There
say
is, but
that.
it goes,
And do
yes,
you have a copy? Do you have a? Oh, there it is, right behind you. All right. So the
yeah.
Soulful Divas is also available, folks. But I wanted to say a couple of things about Shaka. I interviewed her for Good Day Atlanta.
Mhm.
It was a 4-time delayed interview. I'm sure that
Yes.
sounds familiar. But the fourth time was the charm at
All
her
right.
Midtown Atlanta
Yes.
hotel, and we got her in the can and
Uh-huh.
enjoyed her show at Center Stage that night. And then she was one of the youngins at Oprah's Legends Ball. And one of my great memories there is that on that first day of that 3-day event in Santa Barbara, they all met at Oprah's property, all of the legends
Oh,
and
that's
youngins.
right. I remember seeing that.
No one knew who was coming. And
Oh
so they
my,
all met at her home, and then they took
yeah.
a trolley down to the front yard. And then someone came late. And that someone came late and they were dropped off in a black car. It was Shaka because you could see.
Oops.
And it was this great moment as all the ladies are lined up for
Yeah.
this picture, that big portrait that lives in the ether now,
Yeah.
as they're all seated for the portrait by Kwaku Alston, the
Yes.
wonderful photographer. And everybody's like, "Who's this pulling up to the scene?" And it's like there's this silhouette of big black hair, and then there's some smoke in the wind, and then out comes Chaka, and everybody goes, Chaka! Like it's just everybody was like, Chaka! You know, it was a great moment, and I'm sure she was like, "What is this?" You know what I mean? Like, what is
Right.
because it's worth noting they were all invited, but not everybody kind of knew what was involved with that
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah.
And so
I
Shaka,
thought it.
Shaka was a little late and was
Well,
needed but it all I'm sure that tracks, right?
it does.
We
Not,
love you tracks, right?
it does.
We
Not
love
my
you.
response.
But this is what I was gonna say. So the thing that we Broadway enthusiasts are jealous about as it relates to the West End of
Yeah.
late. Dreamgirls was one a couple of years back because it has yet to resurface on Broadway. It's supposed to come next year.
Okay.
Devil Wears Prada. You know, Vanessa keeps
Yes.
extending.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. I went to see it here in London.
Keeps extending in
Vanessa
the West
Williams,
End, but
fabulous.
we're ready for
Yes.
that to come here. And is it Through the Fire, Chaka Khan,
Yes.
which
Yes.
is staged and running, and you got some tie in there.
Well, the only thing to say about that, it was a limited run here. Obviously, it was some. It's an interesting thing that what's happened. Certain productions are put on in the UK first, usually in London, and they're kind of like testing it out. I don't quite understand the thinking behind it, but however, I'm not a theater producer, so I can't speak to
Well,
that.
you see, we're leaning in from the Broadway side. We're leaning in. We're
All
paying
right now.
attention.
So what I would tell you is that yeah, it completed its run now. In fact, they had a run in London, then in two other places outside London to kind of test it out on other audiences, and so it finished yesterday. Its whole British run, so to speak, and I think they're going to do some more shows of it in London in the summer. Some hopefully with the same cast. My association with it was that I was asked to write the playbill, as you call it, basically the program that traced Chaka's career, and I used the songs in the ones they use in the production as the kind of the glue, because to write about someone's career in 2,000 words is a feat. And I thought that's the way to tie it all together. So yes, that's my first time writing a playbill.
So full circle, and you're still writing about and amplifying the divas.
Yeah.
So in closing on this beat, Chaka Khan.
Yes.
Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan.